Good morning. I'm Cammie Guildner, and I'm excited to have you join me for your Best Year Ever webinar. The goal really is to dig in and use this as an opportunity to take care of yourself. I've done this workshop several times, and I'm always amazed of just how a little bit of focused time on yourself can jumpstart some really awesome new things in your life. It's a great way for those of you who are working with me that you can really tune up what you're doing and apply some good thinking to what you want to create next year. And for those of you new to me, you'll get an opportunity just to spend some focused time in on you and what you want to manifest and create in your life. So just have fun. Let's have fun on this journey. An important part of this class is really the sharing that can go on between you guys. Sharing your story, sharing your ideas, speaking your thoughts about what you want to make happen is a great way to manifest new things, get things jump-started. What I do ask is that you each honor each other and really being respectful. This is a confidential to each other, so don't go tell each other stories. Really keep this confidential as a group. It's kind of like what goes on here stays here. So I'd like to ask all of you to, do you guys see a hand that you can raise on your dialog box?
Yes.
Yes. What I'd like you to do is just click on that hand and say, yes, I commit to keeping confidentiality here. Awesome. Thank you. And if you're not comfortable answering a question at any given point, nobody has to say anything. I mean, we're a large enough group that not everyone will get to participate in every single question that we talk about, but it's certainly a learning experience or you won't be able to share on every single question. So to get the most out of this, I encourage you to get out paper and pen and take notes, write things down, be willing to share and participate. The more you can share and participate, the more you'll get out of this experience. Just a little bit about me. I'm Cammie Guildner. I'm a life and leadership empowerment coach, and what really jazzes me is helping people really figure out what they want to do next in their life and to bring in passion and purpose and meaning. So that's what I do, and I'm excited to help you really connect into all the calling in your heart and all your heart desires and manifest what you'd like to make happen in 2015. So let's get started. Well, I say let's get started. Let me get my... There we go. So, it's 2015. This class is really designed for people who want to get into action and turn someday into now. If you're ready to make 2015 the best one yet, then you're at the right place. This is going to be a two-part webinar, and we'll meet again next week at the same time. And you'll have a little bit of homework to do in between, and you'll get the most out of this if you spend a little time with that homework. So this is your life. By the end of class today, I'm going to ask each of you to make a decision. I'm going to ask each of you to make a commitment to yourself to do what it takes to make this the best year ever. And what I want to start with is what would make this year, 2015, your best year ever. I would love to hear some thoughts of what's kind of starting to bubble for each of you. So if I could get 3 to 5 people to share. Have any volunteers? Any brave volunteers to speak out?
Well, this is Marianne.
Hello,
Hi,
Marianne.
everybody. I think what would make this my best year ever, 2 things. One would be to find the love of my life.
Nice.
I'm about 4 years out of a divorce, and I think I've done a lot of soul searching, and I think I'm ready.
Yeah.
So that would make it a great year.
Okay.
And the other thing I think is around the work piece. I love my work, love what I do, but just looking to lay the groundwork for the next step, next stage in my career.
What can follow?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Who else would like to share?
I will go, Cammie. This is Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
Hi. I would love to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. I've worked a corporate job my whole life, and
nice.
That's very safe, but it doesn't really expand my heart. It kind of contracts my heart because you have to play the corporate game, and I'm kind of tired of the corporate game.
Okay. So you're hearing a calling for something new beyond corporate.
Yes, maybe. Well, yeah, or a really expansive corporate job. I just haven't experienced that. Maybe.
Okay. Right. So that's always a choice. You can go do what you love in the corporate realm, or you can go do it on your own. It's a good thing to explore, right?
Right.
Awesome. Okay. Who else?
Cammie, this is Debbie.
I can hardly hear you, Debbie. Can you speak up just a tad?
Can you hear me now? I'm in
Yeah.
the headset. Okay. No, I'm just going to say same thing as Crystal. Honestly, I'm
Okay.
right there with her.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And who else?
Cammie, hi, it's Noelle. Can you hear me?
Noelle. Yes, hear you fine.
Hi. What would make my best year ever is it's kind of a three-chorded look, but
Okay.
totally having my girls completely successful in all their school activities and not feeling like they have to be perfectionists like their mother. Love life, very robust, really, even though I've identified my partner, really taking that relationship with him to the next level and allowing him to go deeper with me.
Okay. And I love the word robust love life, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Marion, there's hope. I'm 5 years out of a divorce as of this month, and I did find a soul partner, so it's just...
Oh, fabulous. I love to hear that.
allowing him to go deeper with me. I'm very deep. I don't linger on the surface very long, and he lingers on the surface a lot. So, anyway, and then
like
with
Venus and Mars.
yeah, right. And then with business, Cammie, I would love to be able to really take my desire and my passion and my ambition with my speaking and really be able to weave that into my Melaleuca business so much more, but really identify the types of women that I want to reach, women in transition, women that really need that ray of sunshine approach, and being able to just give that message going forward of positivity and how do we really do that. I need to get in front of people, and I'm feeling a big itch. So there's a lot of boiling in my basement in my person right now. So those are my three things.
Nice. Okay. How about another?
Hi, Cammie. This is Sarah. So I want to start by saying I love that everyone's been so transparent about life outside of corporate, and I'm also about 6 years out on a divorce, and you do bounce back, and it is an incredibly hard thing to go through, and you do find the love of your life, so it's worth it. Hang in there.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that.
I think the more people say that out loud, the easier it gets when you're kind of in it, and you're not on the other end. So good luck, and it's out there. I think the thing for me as I was listening to everyone else's feedback is, the first piece that came into my head is work-life balance. But as I thought more about it, I thought, it's really balance with meaning. And what I haven't figured out how to do is to have all the component pieces, the job, the success outside of the home, the success in terms of being present with your family and your spouse and the rest of your life, and figuring out how to have meaning in all of those places without having to completely give up one or the other to achieve it.
Right. How do you integrate those pieces, right?
Yep.
I really like that word, integrate. How do you integrate the pieces of your life? Because if you try to make it balanced, very often that's a tough thing to do. But if there's ways that you can integrate it, that's an awesome thing to do. So awesome. Thank you so much for that. And also, I just wanted to share this because this is like one of my favorite success stories off of these Best Year Ever I've done them as teleseminars in the past, and one of my favorite success stories off of this was somebody making a declaration that she was ready for love of her life just 2 years ago. And a week after that, she met somebody who she got married to this summer. So I love stories like that, where you set that intention and new things that happen. So know that this stuff can be really powerful, guys. This is exciting to step into, and where we're going to take this next is we're going to start looking at the key areas of your life that you really want to create and manifest. So I want you to get a pen and paper out, and what we're going to do is we're going to go through, I'm going to have you write down these key areas of your life, and I want you to think about what areas you're really interested in making changes in. So the first one to write down is health, fitness, and wellness. And then professional, career, and business. And you can pick just one of those words if you want, just whatever resonates with you most. Money, friends and family, significant other and romance, home and physical environment, fun and recreation, and then the last one is personal growth and spirituality. So write those 8 pieces down. And then I want you to go back through those, and I want you to rate your level of satisfaction in each one of those areas from a 1 to 10. The current 10 being the highest level of satisfaction, and 1 meaning you need to do a lot of work there. So just go through on those 8 items and rate them, rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. Give you a minute to do that. And let me know when a couple of you have gotten that done. Then I want you to go back through those, and I want you to write down the level of satisfaction that you want to achieve in each area in order for you to have your best year ever. So for example, if I put down in my health and wellness area that I have perhaps a 7, and I'd like to be at a 9. You know, my first number might be a 7, and my second number might be a 9.
Tammy, this is Sarah. Can you just reorient me? So the first one was where we think we are currently, and the second is what we'd like to be.
Exactly, exactly.
Thanks.
And the reason we look at it from that perspective is sometimes we're, you know, for example, something may be a lower number, and you may be perfectly happy where it is right now. It may not be the biggest focus in your life. So when you look at the 2 lists of numbers, what do you notice? I'd love to hear from a couple of you.
Cammy, this is Debbie.
Uh-huh.
I noticed that the numbers are not the same.
Uh-huh.
For me, anyway.
Yeah. And so, what do you feel about that? About them not being the same? What does it make you want to do?
I'm always up for improvement, so
okay.
I want higher numbers.
Okay. Okay. Good. Who else? What else what do you notice? What do you feel? What's it do to your stomach? Anything you want to share?
Tammy, this is Crystal. I have a lot of work to do, and it does make me feel very good.
Okay. And that's, this is the sort of thing that just stopping and taking a look and kind of walking through and saying, gosh, which ones of these would I really like to change, or which ones are most meaningful to me right now? Which ones are calling out the biggest to me right now? So that's what we're going to do. I want you to, the way we're going to move through this is by starting to look at how we can create change in your life with the success strategy, the what, why, how success strategy. Say that fast 3 times. And in doing that, the first thing I want you to do is to circle the key area in that list that you really want to put some focus on. And then I'm going to give you 1 minute, and I want you to write out for 1 minute what your key area of life might look like at the end of the year if it was your best year ever, and if you achieved what you'd like to achieve in that. So pick one of those areas, pick the one that you circled, and I'm going to give you 1 minute. Go ahead and start writing out what you'd like that to look like.
Good.
Okay, so one of the keys to success on this is to take one area and really put a lot of focus in it. So the next 2 weeks, what I'm going to have you doing is really focusing on this one specific area. You're going to be able to put some life into what it is, why you want this, and then how you move into it and what the steps are. And then you can turn around and you can apply this to other places in your life. But to start with, we're going to really just focus on one area at a time. And so this is our what. Now let's make a decision. Let's get really clear about the decision you want to make around this area. And I want to talk a little bit about the distinction between a decision and a goal. A decision is where you're getting really clear about what it is that you want to make happen. You're making a declaration. You're putting a stake in the ground, and you're saying, I'm making a commitment to this. And for example, I want to go on this. I'm going to continue to go on the health thing. I'll tell you right now, you guys, I just hired a health coach, so there's a reason for me to focus on the health part of it. So this is my key area that I'm going to work on right now. And when I think about my 2015, I want to be living a very healthy life. I want to feel vibrant. I want to feel like my body's loose and light, and that I can go do anything physically that I'm interested in. I want to feel like my clothes all fit. So I'm getting enough sleep. I'm putting nourishing food in my body, and I look and I feel fabulous. So that's what making a decision looks like. If I was talking about a goal, just a simple goal, I might say, I'd like to lose 20 pounds. That's not what I'm talking about here. I want you to paint the picture of what you want to have. I want you to really make a decision. So you get to decide now. So to decide to make a powerful decision exercise, the powerful decision, I want you to think about this area that you're focused in on. What conscious decision can you make about your commitment to making a positive change in this area? And I want you to write this out. So I'm going to give you another minute and write out what you'd like to make happen in this decision area. Paint that picture for yourself. Any questions?
Yeah, this is Sarah. So help me with how that's different than what we just wrote out when we did the visioning.
I want you to be really, so is it tied right back to, so you were talking about balance, right?
Yeah.
And then when you went down through your 8 different areas of life, which piece did you take? Did you circle?
I actually circled health, fitness, wellness.
Okay. So focus it there then. So what you're going to make your decision on there is what that looks like around the health, fitness, and wellness area.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, I would love to hear from a few of you what your decision sounds like. Any brave souls, or are you still writing?
Okay, Cami, this is the excuse me, this is Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
I'll go ahead. I don't feel like I did it, as well as you did. So I'm trying to not judge myself. But I wrote, I'd like to work for a nonprofit, a small business, or for myself, doing something meaningful that makes a difference in people's lives instead of just selling stuff that people don't need or want, really.
Right.
I'd like to be respected. I'd like to work on a team, work with a team. I'd like to be really busy, really making this business or whatever move forward. And I'd like to have fun.
Oh, I like that piece of it. Awesome. I think you did a great job. And you're giving yourself some nice choices, but it's tied to the meaning, and it's tied to being respected and having a team of people around you, all really important things to be considering when you're thinking about what's next, right? Do you like to work by yourself, or do you like to work with a team? You like to work with a team. So it's great painting into that vision of what could be.
Good. Thank you.
Who else?
Cami, hi, it's Noelle.
Hi, Noelle. Which one did you choose?
I professional, career, and business.
Okay.
Because that's really what I'm focusing on very, very heavily.
Okay.
Just learning where to place my ads strategically, and then also the speaking engagement to truly draw more people into my realm naturally. So I don't. My whole belief, I don't believe in network groups for myself. They don't feel good to me or organic or genuine. So for me, it's just deeply manifesting the right people to cross my path at the right time very naturally.
Okay. So what I want you to do is that last piece that you just talked about, making your decision around that you're drawing people, the right people, the very interested people. They share the same kind of values as you into your business, and you're doing that very, very organically and naturally, and maybe even envisioning a little bit about how you are showing up on stage, because I know you're going to be awesome on stage.
Yeah, thank you.
And so I think putting a little life into what it feels like when you're at the front of the room like that, and how you're connecting with people. And so I would breathe a little life into that this week.
Okay, great.
Okay, awesome.
We'll do.
Okay, who else? Anyone? We'll do one more. Any brave souls? Okay. Well, we'll move on to the next page. We're going to start moving into the why. Why do you want this? And this is going to help you get really committed. Because once you make a decision, the next step is to get committed and to put the life behind it so that you do stay committed with this. Your only limitation is your desire. How badly do you really want this? The more you desire your goal, the more likely you are to do what is necessary to make it happen. So one way to do this is to get committed to your vision is what Tony Robbins calls the pain-pleasure principle. Simply put, you're putting an incredible amount of pain into abandoning your focus and what happens if it goes away, and an incredible amount of pleasure in achieving it. So that's what we're going to do here. And I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I want you to think about the main area in your life that you're focusing on. And I want you to start with, look at the pain principle, the pain questions. What if nothing changes? So I'm going to put up 3 questions here. What will you miss out in your life if you don't make the changes you want? What will it cost you if you're not moving your life in the direction of your long-term vision? And thirdly, how will it hinder you spiritually, emotionally, financially, or physically if you don't make the change in this area of your life? So you don't have to answer all 3 of these questions. I want you to answer this more holistically. What happens if nothing changes? So give yourself a moment and write out your response to that. What happens if nothing changes for you? So I'd love to get a little feedback on that. What did you notice as you were answering these questions? What did you feel in your body? What did you notice?
It's Marion. I felt a little uncomfortable for a minute there.
Yeah, yeah. Anytime we're starting to go down this path of looking what if nothing changes, it makes us squirm a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else?
It's Noelle, Cammie. Itchy and irritated.
Yeah. Yeah. And the goal of this exercise is really to help you just make it so uncomfortable that you have no choice but to move into action and start taking the steps necessary to make this happen. Let's move in, and those of you who work with me know that I don't very often work in the negative. So this is much more, my style is much more to let's move into what can we make happen, and let's move into the pleasure side of it. It's time to get inspired. So if you make this change in your life, how will you feel about yourself? What kind of momentum could be created in your life when you achieve what you desire in the key area of your life? And how do you feel if you were consistently moving forward towards living a life you love? Now I want you to spend a moment responding to those questions. Okay, so I'd love to hear from you now on how this felt. What came up for you? Just share, if you'd like to share what some of your responses are. I'd love to hear that as well. So let's hear from a few of you.
Cammie, this is Debbie.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, on the third question, all I could think about was a stagnant pond that hasn't been moving. And
Okay.
that's kind of how I've been feeling about my life in so many different areas for quite some time. So it kind of made me think of like breaking open a dam and getting fresh water in and creating a really good, positive, clean, fresh start change.
Nice. Nice. And you've got that coming your way, don't you? Because you're going to be moving out of Colorado, right?
No, I haven't updated you. That all changed.
Okay. Okay. So, but you're ready for that flow of water, and I love the water visual.
Yes.
Because what can you do with that water? I mean, how can you make that water visual really real in your life just day to day so that you are consistently reminded of that?
Well, let's see. I think when we last worked together, it was funny is that I was having this whole visual for myself of like breaking down the wall.
I remember
the wall
that.
in Berlin, and that was pretty much from my heart. And then with this, it's kind of the same visual, I think, per se. But then instead of having like the freedom feeling that I was having, as far as that opening up my heart and allowing a lot of stuff in, that with this, it's more breaking down the dam. And I'm definitely going to have to get a water fountain or something at my desk.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, kind of that visual. When you can tune into something visual, especially, me, I'm a big fan of anything that has to do with nature or water or that sort of thing. I mean, even if it's a picture of a waterfall that's breaking through and letting that flow through, play into that a little bit.
Absolutely.
So what happens, what does it feel like when that breakthrough happens for you? How do you feel?
Oh, I don't know. It just happened.
Okay. Okay. So that's where you're gonna feel. How's your body feel when that happens?
Relief.
Okay.
Because at first I got really upset. I'm like, really? Stagnant water? That's true. That's how I've been feeling for a long time, and I've just been allowing myself to stand in the muck.
Okay. So it's time to break through that, right?
Absolutely.
And what was your area that you wrote down of your 8 areas?
All of the above.
But you just get to choose one.
I know. Career.
Career? Okay. Okay. And it doesn't mean you can't go do the others, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'll apply
right.
it.
I mean, it's where I want you to focus these next 2 weeks is on the career. I mean, on one of them.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And who else? Who else would like to share? Thank you, Debbie.
Cammie, it's Noelle. The
Yes.
feelings that I was feeling were very similar to when I summit a 14er. It's just a complete sense of joy and euphoria and vibrancy, and you're enthusiastic and energetic and accomplished, those type of feelings. So it's like feeling that chi from the top of the mountain.
Yep. Yep. And to be able to put that, and think of you on the stage doing that, having that same feeling.
Yes.
That's going to be awesome, right?
Yes.
Yes. Very cool. Who else? That's another nature analogy I'm just going to point out, which is I'm just liking that. Who else would like to share?
Cammie, this is Sarah. I thought it was interesting, and maybe it's just because it was at a 1 that I picked wellness, which I would not even have thought about if you hadn't put that on the list. But what struck me as I was working through the pleasure principle questions is how much it started seeming like a feedback loop. So the words and the ideas that came into my head is, you know, when you're taking care of yourself, that sense of strength, I mean, at a really basic principle, right? If you're healthy and strong and confident, you accomplish something, you're empowered. And how, as I was going through the pleasure principles, I was thinking, yes, and if you had that, that energy could then go towards all the other things on the list, right? That support like your career and your, you know, your friends and family and the sense of control. And I wouldn't have thought that starting with something which to me seems kind of like the whipped cream in life, like, oh, if I could get wellness, that would be great. But the real things I should concentrate on, you know, the husband, the kids, the career, that sort of made me go, oh, isn't that interesting? Like something that I think of as the thing you get to when you've accomplished all the other really important tasks.
Right.
You flipped it and you took care of that, how you immediately can see how that energy would flow into the other places.
I love that, Sarah. And you know why I love that is because as women, we so very often put us last, right? We put us behind everything else. Yeah. And I'm a big, you got to put our masks on first to breathe. You know, you're on the plane, the mask drops down. We got to put our mask on first in order to be able to take care of everything else around us. And so I think it's probably it's something for you to dig into. What's that mean for you? That showed up for you like that. When you would have thought, gosh, I'm the one that needs to take care of me first. But when you stop and just think about it for a moment, it makes such perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you. Any others? We could do one more.
Cammie, it's Crystal. I just wanted to speak to, and I'm sorry, the person who just spoke, their name escapes me right now, but that's exactly the feeling that I was having, but my choice was professional. But I thought if I, you know, could feel that pleasure, then the rest of my life, I would have much more energy in the rest of my life. So I just thought that was interesting.
Good, good. And that was Sarah, so thank you so much. Okay. So we're getting to the end of our time together today. Couple things of homework. I'm going to send you I'm going to send you a document that gives you, it walks you through some of these things that we've talked about, but you're going to be able to refine your responses to them a little bit more. You're going to write out your vision for what you'd like to happen. You are going to review the decision that you made around, which area, your focus area. So that decision, when you made that decision, this is what I'm going to make happen. Write that out. Review the answers to your pain and pleasure questions. And then I'd like you to take at least 1, 2, if you're bonus, actions that are really around manifesting that area for yourself. So really just if you step into a little bit of action, it doesn't take too much. It's little tiny steps to get us moving, to step us into action. Any questions on that?
So, Cammie, for me, getting into action, because I chose romance, and I don't know, it feels like that's something that's more organic, so
okay.
I don't know how to get into action on that.
Is there something that, what do you need to do to kind of open yourself up to relationships? Is there anything around that?
That's a great question. Maybe just declaring that that's what I want is of opening up, and that is an action piece that I hadn't thought of. But it's a tricky one.
It is. It is. And then are you doing any online anything?
Yeah, I'm lazy about it.
So maybe that's an action that you could put there, right? Is maybe just look and see, is there just one person out there that kind of intrigues you?
Okay.
And be brave and reach out to them.
Hi, Cammie, this is Dawn, and I just want to comment to the woman that was just talking about for action steps. And it is hard, but, and I hate the online thing too. It's not my thing. But maybe for an action step then, because this is the way that I'm trying to view it, is find out that one thing you love to do. And let's just say you love going to museums, and you would like the person and you envision the person going to the museums with you. Well, where else are you going to meet them? Maybe you put on there that you go to the museum, so you open yourself up to meeting the type of person that would go there, or something along those lines. That you're being able to encounter the types of people that you want to meet and have.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
What kind of comes to mind for me is maybe it's the Colorado Mountain Club, or just it can be much more organic than the online side of things.
Right.
Yeah. But so I think part of it, and I totally get. I did years and years of online dating and other ways as well, and I totally get the, gosh, am I still do I still want to do this? But continuing to just put yourself out there in different ways, whether it's going to a museum, whether it's going on a hike with others, or responding to somebody online that just is intriguing to you. Putting yourself out there just a little bit more is a good way to do that.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions on the homework? So,
this is Crystal. I'm sorry. Shall I move forward, or do you have time?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I guess it feels like a huge step for me between the pain and pleasure to action steps, because I honestly, I guess I'm agreeing with the person who just spoke.
Okay. So give me an example then. So tell me what yours was, where you were.
Yeah, mine was professional. And my what is that I want to work for a small profit or a small business, or for a small group with teams, and
Right.
You know, be respected and have a lot of things to do to move things forward, but, you know, moving that into action steps.
Right. So perhaps what you could do around yours is to dig into what you were talking about around the nonprofits, the small business, the being part of a team, you know, really painting that picture of that that decision piece. That is a big action step, is to get clear about what you want to create and start just thinking about where could I do this? Could this be for myself? Could this be within, you know, a nonprofit? And just make a list of maybe 5 to 10 different places you might be able to do that kind of career effort. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Good questions, by the way. So what we covered today is, you know, we really started to look into what constitutes a great year for you, how you want to feel about yourself and how you're living your life. And we looked at the key areas of life that really are calling to you and which ones you want to make that shift in, and picked one. We started the first 2 steps of the what and the why strategy. The how piece is going to come next week. So what you really want, and the importance of taking a stand and making a decision around what it is that you want. And 2, why you want it. That was the pain and the pleasure principle. It's like, why do I want this? If I don't make this change, what happens? Next week we're going to go into the how part of the success strategy. And we're going to start discussing beliefs and goal setting and strategies for staying in action. So just taking this one small action this week is going to, you know, start to move your feet. And that sometimes, I mean, being on this call is moving your feet, guys. This is, you know, when you start even asking yourself these questions, it is starting, it's creating motion, it's creating movement in your life. So congratulations to all of you for being here. Our second part of this will be same time next week at 11:30 on Monday, and you'll continue to get some reminders that give you the link to get you in. Also want to offer up to you guys, as you are starting to move into thinking about what's next in your life and what you want to create in your life, I offer every month a limited number of Yes to You strategy sessions. And these are just a 45-minute telephone conversation where you get to dig into what your heart desires, what you want to create, and we can basically what we're talking about here, but you get 45 minutes of me to help you go deeper with that. I only can offer so many of these, so I have a limited number of them. And if you guys would like to apply for one of these sessions, what I would like to ask you to do is just drop me an email, tell me you're interested, and we can and tell me why you're interested, what's moving you, why you think this would be really helpful to you, and what you're wanting to accomplish. And then I'll see if we can fit as many of you in as I can. My email is here, and with that, what I'd love to hear from everyone is basically kind of what your aha moments are from this, from our session today. What new, anything new came up for you, or just any thoughts that you might be having as we wrap up this call.
Cammie, it's Crystal again.
That I didn't like dwelling in that little dark place even for a minute.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, and that's a good. And I don't want you to dwell there very long, guys. So that's for me. It's I don't believe in putting a lot of emphasis into the painful side of it. But I do like asking the question: what if nothing changes? What if it's a year from now and nothing has changed?
Yeah, I think it's motivating.
Yes. Yes, and then get out of that and into what can you create, and really spend your focus and effort there. Any others?
Cammie, this is Noelle. I think identifying those numbers that we originally did for those 8 areas and then identifying the numbers we wanted to get to, instead of seeing it, visualizing it as a lack or a deficit, to actually see it as an opportunity.
Yes, good.
And so I had to switch my mind in mid-flight.
I like that. I like that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any others?
Cammie,
What's your big aha?
Who's this? This is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi. So this might be a little bit repetitive, but I'm still thinking about the idea that all the things you listed are sort of interwoven, and maybe you need to sort of step sideways and focus on something else to bring you back to the main thing. Like, you know, you head into these thinking, this is what I need to accomplish, and this is where I need to focus, and if I get the career stuff right, for me at least, everything else will fall into place. And I had a sort of aha moment of like, maybe your career stuff is okay, maybe you need to focus this other place, and that will then help the career stuff move forward. This idea of hitting your head against the same brick wall, but maybe that's not the brick wall you need to be working on.
Ah, very good, very good. That's awesome. There is I'm trying to remember the name of a tool that I just posted online not too long ago, where you look at how your different pieces of your life are integrating. I don't know if any of you online remember seeing this being posted on the Syzygy Facebook page. I can't remember, but I will find that link because it's a really interesting tool to look about how we are integrating our lives. I just came across it just a few weeks ago, and I thought it was awesome because it looks at how we are looking at the different areas of our life, but it's a little bit more condensed than that. And you actually go through this little tool where you move these circles around and how they overlap and integrate. So I'll send that out to you guys because it's kind of a fun one, and I think it applies to what you're talking about here, Sarah.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, I think this is about the end of our time together, and I want to thank all of you for being here, and look forward to hearing how things unfold for you this next week, and then speaking again to you next Monday. So have an awesome week.
Thank you, Cammie. You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.